seeing little kids is not the good thing, you know.
This is another tragedy because no child, and certainly not an infant, should be the victim of gang violence.
Another unimaginable story from Chicago today. A 6-month-old baby has become a victim of gun violence. Jonila Watkins died early this morning after being shot 5 times while her father changed her diaper in the front seat of the family van. A baby killed by gun violence, a sad and sober reminder of the gun epidemic. And also today, another reminder. James Holmes, the man accused of killing 12 people inside an Aurora, Colorado movie theater, appeared in court to enter a not guilty plea. But the fight for change was alive today. A moving picture as cyclists who bike from Newtown, Connecticut, arrived in Washington, D.C. to raise awareness for common sense gun legislation. Their 4-day, 400-mile ride was in honor of 26 children and adults killed at Sandy Hook. And right as they arrived in D.C., a key Senate panel approved 2 bills on background checks and school safety. This is real progress. It's the first hurdle to becoming a law. And outside the Beltway, we're seeing a movement. We're seeing activism. The Colorado State Senate just approved bills on magazine ammunition limits and expanded background checks. And mothers from over 30 states are expected to attend a common sense gun laws event tomorrow in D.C. But in Oregon, a troubling trend is hurting the chances for real reform. Pro-gun advocates are intimidating lawmakers with threatening emails and video surveillance. It's forcing them to back off legislation. It's politics by intimidation. And nobody in this fight will be intimidated. Joining me now is Oregon State Senator Jenny Burdick. She's pushing for gun safety and is the target of intimidation. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me, Reverend.
Now, what kind of gun legislation were you trying to get passed in Oregon?
I'm trying to get past some very common sense measures that have widespread support from Oregonians and specifically from gun owners. The people who are causing all the problems in Oregon are a very small fringe. Most gun owners are perfectly fine with what I'm proposing, which is universal background checks and also elimination of an exemption that currently allows people with concealed handgun licenses to bring loaded guns into schools.
Now, you've been a target of intimidation and attempted intimidation. Tell us what happened.
Well, I had a town hall scheduled, and I got wind that the gun extremists were planning on crashing the town hall, and it was at a university. It was at Portland State University, and I did not want to subject students to that kind of event, because when that happens, and it's happened to me before where town halls have been crashed, and not only are they able to legally bring in loaded guns, which is very intimidating, but their behavior is extremely intimidating.
Wait a minute,
and when
they bring in loaded guns?
Yes.
And
yes,
then they behave. Wouldn't you say their behavior is extreme? What do you mean? What do they do while they have these loaded guns?
They're very rude and disruptive. And again, this is the fringe. This is not your regular gun owner. This is the fringe. But unfortunately, they are dominating the discussion right now, and it's very unfortunate.
Now, let me show this extreme group as they came into the state capitol with guns. This is actually in the state capitol in Oregon. This extreme group who do not represent the majority of the gun owners in Oregon, but they are extreme group. Now, you canceled the town hall meeting, and then what did they do?
I did, and when I canceled the town hall meeting, I didn't want to say anything inflammatory, so I just said the standard scheduling conflict. Well, they showed up at my house, and they stayed in front of my house for 2.5 hours, taping everything I did, doing my recycling, getting my mail, and then
We're
they put it on
showing the video of what they did at your house. Go ahead.
And then they put it on the web, and their point was that I didn't, in fact, have a scheduling conflict. So they thought that that they would get a lot of mileage from that. But they ran my address, and they ran very, threatening comments about it.
So let me get this straight. You canceled a town hall meeting because you knew that what it was like for them, these type of extremists, to crash your town hall meeting on gun safety. You decided to cancel it in the interest of the students at the university, and they went in front of your house, videotaped your house for 2.5 hours, and put it on the internet. I mean, you can take all kind of inferences for putting a public official's house on the internet. This is a copy that we're showing of your house being put out there for any nut to see. And this is you actually going to the garbage on the video and moving your garbage pail. This is what they put out.
That's it. It's not very exciting, but it's a little intimidating.
Now, you said a little intimidating. Were you worried? Did you feel a little afraid?
No, I was not aware they were doing it. Nobody told me they were taping it.
How did you feel once you knew and found out or even viewed what they had done? It had to shake you a little.
I thought it was very, very creepy. It creeped me out, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I would absolutely understand that. And then you have, you look at the 2 men roaming neighborhood carrying guns. In mid-January, 2 men in Portland began carrying semi-automatic rifles on their backs, walking around the neighborhood. This was less than a month after the Newtown shooting. It even prompted a learning center to go on lockdown. The men said they were just educating the public on their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And this is not about the Second Amendment. We all support the Second Amendment. I'm sure you and most of your constituents do. But this extremist, this kind of intimidation, this kind of demanding that they can do anything they want in the name of Second Amendment. This is the thing that is very, very frightening. And to me, it is what is polarizing about this issue.
Well, what's really frightening about it, Reverend, is that it seems to work. That is the truly frightening thing, is that politicians back down just because they don't want to take the harassment. And that is what results in no change. And I just refuse to be intimidated because I can't, in good conscience, after Newtown, back down. I simply cannot do it morally.
Well, good for you, and no public official should, even though I understand what you're saying, but I wish everyone had your courage. Let me bring in from the Washington Post, Nia Malika Henderson. Nia Malika, let me ask you, are lawmakers in Washington feeling the pressure from these extreme pro-gun groups?
Well, I think they are, in the sense that the NRA remains a pretty powerful lobbying group for the gun lobby, and they are obviously looking at the 2014 elections. You saw these recent bills come out of the Judiciary Committee very much along partisan lines. The vote was 10-8. The Democrats who did support these stricter gun control laws are from states that already have pretty strict gun control laws as it is, and the 8 Republicans, mostly from southern states, places like Texas, Iowa, South Carolina. So I think a lot of what we knew coming into this, those factors about region, about senators who are from states that are more sort of pro-gun, more southern, those factors are still going to be in play as the president wants to see these bills work their ways through the Senate. I think he still has to worry about whether or not he's going to be able to keep the Democratic coalition together. There are 55 Democratic senators in the Senate. They would need 5 Republicans to get anything passed. But I think the question of whether or not any of these senators, these Democratic senators who will be in tough fights in 2014, are they actually going to back any of these bills?
From Nia Malika, the public is there. When you look at the polls, 82% support making illegal gun sales a federal crime. 91% support universal background checks. 57% want an assault weapons ban. The public is there. I don't know what the politics is in the Senate, but the public seems overwhelmingly there.
That's right. And even if you look, I mean, if you drill down among gun owners, if you drill down among folks who are in the NRA, many of those folks also support tighter restrictions around background checks. But so far, that hasn't made a difference, at least on the Senate side, out of this particular committee. I do think you're going to see increased movement in the state. So far, there are about 1,000 gun control laws that are pending around the different states in this country. Some of those bills would seek to nullify whatever comes out of the federal side of this. So there is some movement on the state side.
Well,
and we'll see what
Senator
comes out of the federal
Burdick,
side.
she says there are laws around the country in different states. You say you're not going to be intimidated. Do you think you'll be able to get anything through the legislature in Oregon on gun control?
Well, if the legislature pays attention to the public, because it's absolutely correct, the public is with us on reasonable gun laws, including the gun-owning public. So if we can get the public to speak up, if we can get people's voices heard, then we'll be able to do it. But if people remain silent, then I'm not very optimistic.
All right, you're a very courageous person. Thank you, State Senator Jenny Burdick and Nia Malika Henderson, for your time tonight, to both of you.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you, Reverend.
Ahead.